Hello again, Moses and Carmela exploring the Broken Aro coal tipple today. This mine was owned by Peabody Coal Company, who also owned the Simcoe mine south of Coshocton, Ohio, and this mine was built in the early 1950s. We believe this first structure was a coke oven. Coke is made by heating coal in a furnace to 1800 to 2100 degrees F without any oxygen present. Impurities are burned away, leaving nearly pure carbon. The processing process could take 2 to 3 days. Most common uses for coke are for manufacturing steel or for making what is called smokeless fuel like charcoal. This is a pretty small furnace and was likely used only to supply local needs. Maps show the area was originally mined up until 1910 with underground techniques. The old processes were slow, dangerous, and expensive, and large portions of coal would be left behind as pillars to support the roof. All of these old mines have been flooded with water and are now sealed. The advent of strip mining in the 1950s lowered costs and allowed a higher percentage of coal to be recovered. Giant draglines and shovels scooped away the earth to expose the coal seams. They had names like Big Muskie, Silver Spade, and Gem of Egypt. A Marion 8700 dragline moved the earth at Broken Aro. It was only one of 2 8700 series draglines to be built. At the end of the 275-foot boom was a 70-yard bucket for scooping the rocks. With an overall weight of roughly 9 million pounds, these mammoth machines were electrically powered and could move at a speed of a quarter mile per hour. Cable carrying 7200 volts brought power to the dragline, running the dozen or so 1,000 horsepower motors inside. It took 3 people to operate the machine. One person as the operator, moving the bucket and boom and rotating the machine overall. Another person was the oil lubricator in servicing all the gears and motors and pulleys. And then a third person operated a bulldozer and kept the big rocks away from the dragline tracks. We did not attempt to climb inside the tipple. The main support beams along the hillside had rotted away and cracked, and looking up through the chutes, there appeared to only be minimal boards for loose flooring. All the coal screening and sorting equipment had been removed when the mine was shut down. The remains on the hillside are where the coal was cleaned. Coal was trucked from the surface mines and dumped into 2 large hoppers at the top of the hill. From there it was washed, and the cement drain channels through which the water flowed are still visible in the ground. Wet coal doesn't burn well, so there may have been some flash dryers in this area too. We presume a series of conveyors then delivered the coal into the tipple for screening. Within the tipple, there would have been machines to separate rocks from the coal. Large pieces would be crushed into smaller chunks. The chunks were graded by size, from barley, in which the coal was as fine as sand, up to egg, which was about the size of a softball. The smaller the size of the coal, the faster it would burn, sometimes too fast, in an almost explosive manner. Large chunks of coal gave off energy for a long period of time. However, this egg coal was more prone to clinkers, unburnt parts of coal that might contain impurities and which clogged or disrupted the bed of fire. The 1958 aerial view shows what the operation was like in the early years of Broken Aro Mine. The tipple is the only structure remaining today, as there's just rudimentary foundations from the equipment service building and the farmhouse structures. This next view shows the extent of the underground mines from the early 1900s. We weren't able to find any information out about the depth of these mines. Broken Aro was closed in the late 1960s, and in the 1990s, the old underground mine openings were sealed using a remining technique to minimize water contamination. The whole area is now the Woodbury Wildlife Area, and we almost saw a bobcat during our exploration.